Which one's the best crypto asset? Well, Bitcoin's the best crypto asset. Okay, what's the second best? There is no second best.
GM, welcome back to the channel. It's Friday. Hope everyone has a great weekend out there. Now, in this one, just a quick update on 3 tokens. We've got Kamino Finance, Fantom, and Banana Guns. So just interesting things hitting the timeline that I've read. So just going to go through those, a bit of a TLDR on each. And other than that, subscribe if you're new, and we'll jump on in. So Bitcoin here, quick overview, 57.9K this morning. We've been flirting with 58 to 58.5 most of this morning. And yeah, price has been quite volatile. Nothing major at this moment in time, but it looks like Bitcoin's kind of slow grinding up. Now, white vertical bars, Wednesday the 18th of September, that is the FOMC. Friday the 20th of September, that is the quad witching day. I would imagine volatility until then, and then hopefully we get the more up-only based price action after a long, arduous downtrend that we've been in for quite some time. So looking forward to Q4 more broadly, and hopefully those are going to be some of the key dates for us to have an about turn for the market. So let's jump into Kamino Finance first. This is the chart of the ticker KMNO. It is in a nice uptrend here since around the end of June, gradually just making its way higher and higher and higher. Hopefully going to tackle some of these highs around 8 to 9 cents a region. Now, this is a report from Syndica that has been kind of diluted down by Kamino, essentially just going through some of the stats and some of the growth that has happened Sol DeFi wise. So Kamino's dominance in Solana lending is now over 70%. That is up from around 30% dominance back in January. Now, one thing to factor in with this, we had MarginFi, which was another big borrow lend protocol that kind of screwed up their token airdrop, giving people blue balls, if you will, around we're going to drop a token, not dropping the token, and essentially TVL was not sticky as a result. So in this kind of winner takes most environment, Kamino has taken that dominant position now, which I think is a very good one and a bit of a large lead, an unassailable lead potentially. So they have Kamino V2 coming up. And as you can see from the charts here, Kamino Finance in the kind of bluey purple down here, increasing its market dominance month by month. And you can see the shrinking of MarginFi there. And then we have Save, formerly of Solend, pretty much stagnant there, somewhere around the teens. So 70% for Kamino Finance, rather healthy lead there. So that is the kind of standings from the money market perspective on Sol. If you expect Solana DeFi to continue to grow, you would expect, of course, TVL to be continually growing as well for Solana. Now, there's been a few key drivers to the TVL growth specifically on Kamino. Noted here, one, PYUSD, so that is PayPal's dollar. They launched it onto Sol, and there have been incentives and business development around that. So Kamino is kind of the flagship venue for PYUSD at this moment in time. So that is very interesting in itself. PayPal obviously having spoken to Kamino around this. The chart on screen also shows the amount of Sol TVL, so how much Sol is actually parked on these various venues. Again, in the purpley blue here, Kamino leading the charge. And generally, you're seeing overall more Solana reach these different DeFi platforms, these money markets over time as well. So we would expect the growth of Sol, its network, and thus Kamino to continue. JLP market growth has also continued, now over 450 mil in size on there. So if we go on to multiply on Kamino here, they have things such as the JLP loop to increase up to a max APY of 36% on JLP. They've also incentivized the use of PYUSD for the JLP deposits as well, I believe. And they've just got some really cool things on here that you don't really see on the likes of Aave or mainnet, due to the fact the infrastructure layer of Sol allows for these things to take place, flash loans, looping, etc. August also saw the launch of the JUP Sol multiplier as well, so borrowing more and multiplying your yields. So that was super interesting. Now, in terms of a benchmark versus Aave here, Kamino has earned the trust of users, they say, and they believe that this is part of them gaining momentum and becoming more robust. As of yet, fingers crossed, no hacks for Kamino. It's been audited 10 plus times at this point. Kamino V2 is about to come out as well. And you can see this is Aave in amber, Kamino in purple. and their respective TVL share on each of their chains. So Aave, you can see, has around like this, say 67% in the month of August, 67% of all TVL in lending markets on the EVM are with Aave. It is super Lindy. You're seeing that kind of Lindy effect here on Solana with Kamino. So that is of note. Then we also have PYUSD making its home on Solana via Kamino. Also, 68% of all PYUSD on Solana is deployed into Kamino Finance, with use cases being added on a regular basis, PYUSD being onboarded to the JLP markets to lever up. We can see that here. PayPal's USD has a market cap of $827 million, and 45% of which is on ETH. 55% of which is on Sol, the majority of which is on Kamino. So again, really interesting stats. A little bit more on here as well. From the report, they believe that the lending markets will have a winner takes most dynamic, which is what we're pretty much seeing play out. Solana stablecoin market cap has returned to pre-FTX levels as well. So that is definitely notable. Obviously, FTX collapse was a huge problem for Solana and trust on the network, but if that has recovered to the pre-FTX drop, that is a sign of serious recovery and potentially momentum for this chain going forwards. And so you're seeing a lot of positive signs for Sol DeFi broadly, and a net beneficiary of that, of course, is going to be Kamino Finance. Next up, quick word on Fantom, 47.4 cents. Would like to add somewhere this kind of region, 43 to 44, somewhere around there, hopefully if we get a dip. So this was interesting, Andre's previous tweet. So he kind of corrected this and said, look, I made a mistake, 5, not 4. This in reference to the fact he has previously stated back in January, I have 4 unreleased DeFi primitives. He has created DeFi primitives in the past, such as the options airdrop. This has been adopted by OTAP, and it was kind of made famous by Keeper KP3R in the previous cycle. So his new primitives, I'm not sure what the 5th is, but the 4 mentioned here, protection markets, LevX, which will be on-chain perps, swaps within an order book, FX swaps, and an on-chain bureau. Now we know he has been a prolific shipper in the past, and so this is obviously someone I think a lot of people will look to back once we have the Sonic mainnet go live and once he starts to ship those to the wider public. So 1.3 bill market cap, potentially small change versus the competition out there. And I thought this was an interesting chart in terms of the growth potential of Fantom, because in the last cycle, TVL on Fantom went up to $8 billion and it's currently at $80 million, which is ridiculous. But if it could get back to those kind of levels, if he creates primitives that people want to use and people become power users of, attracts the whales, etc., well then you're going to see crazy charts like this. Obviously it ran up massive last cycle as well, from like, look at that, under $1 million in TVL up to $8 billion. That's the kind of crazy stuff that can happen during a market cycle. Pretty much flatline here. We're waiting for Sonic upgrade, but for this to go back to its previous all-time highs, to go from 80 million to 8 billion, is a 100x gain on TVL for said chain. So microcaps on that chain probably worth a look at. Talked about some of those recently. Fantom itself, the gas token, which will convert into Sonic. Again, another one I am interested in as an outside bet. Main bet being, of course, Sol this cycle and Sol memes. Then last notable one here is Banana Gun. So Banana Gun is a trading bot via Telegram. You can trade across Base, ETH, Sol. I think there's one other as well. Here is the chart, 137 mil market cap only. This is kind of the trajectory of the token more broadly. It has been a stronger one. And when we consider the fact that on-chain has been quieter than what it was back at this kind of peak, this has been a nice holding pattern here and even broke a new all-time high back in July. Decent attempt here at $60 in August. Like, it's not a bad chart whatsoever considering the kind of market dynamics at this moment in time. So if on-chain is to heat back up, Banana potentially going to be a big winner. Unibot is, funnily enough, a 5 mil market cap today, which is pretty crazy to see. What was the market leader when the first narrative around trading bots came out now has fallen by the wayside, and Banana is the leader. So this is Asva Capital. This is worth a little read through. We'll just highlight some of the overview here. Fourth chain being Blast, down there as well. But key features, automated trading, security features as well, such as anti-rug measures, MEV resistant swaps, so ensures safer usability for traders on there. They have sniping tools, limit orders, pretty much all advanced order types that you could possibly want. A lot of people use this to snipe contracts as well. And it actually accounts for over 3% of all trading volume through ETH front ends, which is a pretty good market capture there. By revenue, this protocol is top 15, over 4 million monthly. It is currently achieving. Accumulated over 6 bill in trading volume thus far. And out of all of the bots, there are a lot of them out there, 17% market share. It says in here as well, circulating supply 3.4 mil, but long vests for the team, as you can see here, 2 to 8 years. 45% of tokens are reserved for the treasury, 11% of all tokens currently burned. So at this current burn rate, 35% of tokens will not be released, they state, and no upcoming token unlock until September 2025. So that could be a concern, but that is a long ways away. It does revenue share. So if you hold over 50 banana tokens in your wallet, you get a rev share where you can claim. So on Solana mainnet, that would be for Sol. On ETH mainnet, you can claim banana or ETH. And the annual yield is approximately 20%. So what I'm thinking with this is a really interesting one. It's the market leader currently. I think you'll see things like this. A lot of smart money whales are holding. They've had investments seen by the likes of Galaxy Digital investing into this bot as well. It's definitely of interest. And what they have coming up is this new feature, which is going to be their web app. If you've used the Unibot terminal, it's going to be similar to that, I would imagine, but with even more richer features as this team has continually shipped non-stop. So definitely of interest. And I think what you need to see is on-chain to heat up for this thing to really have its next ascension. People were talking about Unibot being a shoe-in for $1 billion market cap. This thing is pretty much a 10x away from that and is the market leader. So I would say a 10x on this thing during the bull market is not out of the question. What is going to bring more on-chain activity? Well, we just had this news. CBBTC is now on-chain. So Coinbase have now got their own ERC20 backed token for Bitcoin that you can use on-chain. So this is to rival wrapped BTC. And this means millions of Bitcoin holders can now securely access DeFi apps on Base and ETH. So take note of what is happening in the background here. On-chain should heat up. And it looks like the big boys are making moves around this. So that would be, I would suggest, on-chain heater, banana is likely to do really well. Obviously not financial advice. These are just my thoughts and musings in the market. Do not currently hold any of this token, but could be a holder in the future. So we shall log off here. Have a great weekend out there. Subscribe if you're new. Check out the link to the BLOCMATES meal deal down below. Peace.